Greetings, everyone. Greetings, and welcome to Mega Life 21 Mayhem. This is a special edition of Mega Life 21 Mayhem, and the reason why I'm saying that is this is a show for honest craft beer reviews, and I am here with the one and only Tom, the Beer Whisperer. How are you tonight, Tom?
I'm good. Are you still there?
I'm here.
Okay, I had a flash for a second.
Do you hear me loud and clear, right?
Yep, we're good.
Okay. I'm your host for Honest Craft Beer Reviews, James Piranha Madonna. And for you people out there that are faint at heart and ultra sensitive, I suggest that you do not watch this video because we are going to hit pretty hard. And Tom the Beer Whisperer is in no mood for shenanigans. He looks like he's in no mood. Now, what I want to bring up, Tom, I was speaking to Mr. Red Rooster, who is our official beer consultant, and he was telling me about a group that himself and John Starodumsky used to belong to. It was called Beer United. What the hell? I forgot the name of it. Beer Lovers United. Something like that. I don't know. Man, it was right on the tip of my tongue. I was just reading it. It was a beer group. It was a beer group. That consisted of, well, I could go, actually, I could edit this little piece out and go, okay, Mr. Red Rooster told me about the group that him and John Starodumsky used to belong to, Beer Drinkers United, where it consisted of these beer snobs, these snobbish beer geeks, that you couldn't criticize them in any way. You couldn't say anything negative about anything, which, you know, it inhibits the First Amendment, and it's totally the opposite of honest craft beer reviews and regional food and drink. We're all about honesty, honest opinions, and these people were like a human centipede. You know, they were up each other's ass, and you couldn't say anything constructively critical, which is not being honest. It's not the real world. And they would get offended. So what happened was they kicked out Red Rooster and John Starodumsky for debating some of the fixtures that are at that group. And a couple of them went over to Honest Craft Beer Reviews because I basically quit. I told them off. How dare you ban people for giving their honest opinion. And what happened was a lot of the members there were giving dishonest reviews on beers based on the fact that the beer companies were sending them free beer. There were beer whores. So they were receiving free cases of beer, thus they gave positive reviews, which is not honest. Now, I want you to tell me, without mentioning any names, what criticism have you received from snobbish beer geeks that try to make a science out of beer enjoyment and beer reviewing? They try to complicate things because they're probably auditioning for a new Food Channel show. And tell me exactly how they criticized you. I know you were telling me, Tom, that they criticized you for making statements about a beer that is a great value for the money. Something in that respect.
Yeah, I wasn't specifically talking about folks from that group. I actually, in full disclosure, I need to tell you that I am a member of that group.
Beer Drinkers United.
I'm not fully aware of the issues that that Red Rooster and John had. I kind of came in on the tail end of that. I don't know if it was the whole group or just a couple of members. Some the powers that be. But in full disclosure, I needed to tell you that as far as here, I'm gonna pour a little beer so I can pour my talk here.
Now, what beer are you drinking there, sir?
This is a Summit Extra Pale Ale. It's a brew out of St. Paul, Minnesota, and this is a good warm weather beer. It's 5.2, 45 IBUs, so it's nice and light, refreshing, but pleasantly bitter as well.
Yeah, any ice cold micro brew craft beer is great for warm weather.
But anyway, as far as I get along with about everybody. I mean, I'm kind of an odd feller, most people don't have a problem with me, but I do my, those of you that have watched any of my videos, I kind of take mine a different direction. I try to be irreverent. I try to give information like I just did about the beer, but I don't take it too seriously. I mean, there are folks out there that believe or that have made statements that craft beer is everything. I don't think it's everything. And I'm 47 years old, and I love beer, and I don't think any human being on the planet enjoys drinking a beer more than I do. I am pretty confident when I say that.
Okay.
But, if this is the most important thing to you, then you either don't have a life, a family, or your priorities are seriously out of whack. You know what I'm saying?
Well, there are many so-called fanatics out there.
This is a great beer, and there are some incredibly wonderful beers, but it shouldn't be the main focus in your life, and that's the whole point I'm trying to make.
Well, these people,
And like I said, I talk a lot and I make funny, I try to make light of a lot of things, but I also try to bring some information to it. And I make no secret about that. I'm a man of very limited means. And craft beer has got very expensive.
You have a pillow that is gravitating, that is descending behind you. Is attempting to
behind me.
It is attempting to descend behind you. I don't think the person
wants trying to get to the potty without being seen.
Woo! I don't think. Is that what it is?
I'm trying to hide him here.
The Snapdragon room.
Snapdragon room.
Okay. All right, I understand now. Well, if they have to go.
This is what happens when I try to talk serious. After that, it's
just can't do it.
I'm a buffoon waiting to happen.
Well,
but anyway,
if the person has to detoxify, then let them go. You gotta go. But anyway,
I think what I was saying was, I talk about value a lot. I mean, I talk about the price of, there are certain, amongst beer geek, groups, there are a few darling breweries across the country. And you probably know what I'm talking about. There's a few breweries that almost never get criticized for one reason or another. And if you talk about those, some folks want to take exception. I mean, there are some beers out there, specific styles that cost about $15 a six-pack, while another craft brewer will sell a beer for $10 a six-pack of the same style. Both beers are of equal quality, and I don't like to get into the conversation of which is better because that, and then you start getting down to individual taste. But as far as quality, both are equal. So what makes this one worth 15 and why is this one getting away with 10? The reason is simple: is the one that's 15 they're gouging. They shouldn't be charging $15 for it. But they're getting away with it because there are some people that are going to pay for it. My thing is buy good, but buy smart. I'm always looking for a bargain.
Well, that's right.
And I always talk about, like I just did, I give you the ABV and I give you the IBUs. And I've had some people accuse me, they say things like, well, Tom, just because it has a higher ABV doesn't make it a better beer. I said, no, it doesn't. But if you're talking about a larger beer, an Imperial Stout, for instance, that has a big ABV, a big flavor profile, a lot of IBUs, you're talking about more ingredients in the beer. Therefore, it should be more expensive than a 4.5% session ale. And that's the point I'm trying to make, is a 4.5% session ale shouldn't go for $10 a six-pack, while a 10% Imperial Stout also goes for $10 a six-pack, and that's the whole point. The point is, buy smart. Use your head. Don't get sucked in. beer geeks like to talk about the commercial breweries, how bad they are. It's all about marketing. That Budweiser's a terrible beer, but they have great marketing. But craft brewers do the same thing. There's some great craft brewers out there that have incredible marketing, and some not as much. It's marketing that sells beer. Not the 50, and I've already made this a longer story than it should have been. But the $15 beer is not necessarily better than the $10 beer, and that's the
Yeah, well, look, I would never pay more than $8 for beer because, out of principle, regardless of how much money I have. I mean, some people, most of us in America, do not have money to burn, and but it's out of principle. If I had the bucks, I would not pay, like you say, $10-15 for a 6-pack of any beer. It's just, I mean, look at the ingredients of beer. It's similar to making bread or pizza, for God's sakes. You got yeast, you got barley, whatever. You got grains, water.
Yeah.
Give me hops. How expensive could these things possibly be? The ingredients that go into a microbrew beer, which just happens to be the original way beer was made.
That's right.
Back in the day.
And the thing is, when something becomes hip, the price goes up. And you've got this small group of folks that are raising the price because all of a sudden beer is cool within this group of 20-somethings. And all of a sudden, they're the experts on beer now.
Yeah, well, look at
the guys that I'm talking about, They're generally, the guys with the shaggy hair and the goatees, and you can't, they don't want to listen to somebody my age because they're smarter than me.
Well, they
or I know more about beer. I've only been drinking beer for longer than I've been allowed to. But yeah, you go ahead. You just assume you're smarter than I am.
They're putting on a facade to because they're insecure and they feel they need an edge over the so-called average person. So they become fanatics and they become gurus, supposed gurus, about a certain subject. And what they're trying to do is they're trying to become like the sophisticated, snobbish wine tasters out there. They're trying to make beer like wine. And, they want to go around acting like, I drink nothing but Dom Perignon and all this stuff. They're trying to act sophisticated. So they feel they are in a higher upper echelon than we are in the average person.
I agree. That's the point I make in a lot of my videos. Is I talk about there's too much pretension in the craft beer industry, and I hate the term craft beer because I think that brings in the pretension. Oh, you drink beer? No, I drink craft beer. You know what I'm saying?
But that's the way
that denotes pretension. So I drink good beer. I think that makes more sense than craft beer.
Well, that's the way beer. I'm sorry. That's the way beer originally was. It was all craft beer.
Yeah.
Centuries ago. I mean, they did the same thing, Tom. They did the same thing with the term organic produce, organic fruit, organic vegetables. You walk into a Whole Foods, and the price of organic produce is sky high. But in actuality, all produce was originally organically grown, and livestock, chickens and whatever. They were all organically raised and grown, but they're making it like it's something new and different and superior. So then you get the snobs that say, I know a couple of them. They say, "Oh, I only buy organic." Oh, what did you buy? Is it organic though? Is it organic? You know what? The point is, not even certified organic is guaranteed to be certified organic anymore.
Yeah.
Because of cross-pollination, you have the genetically modified foods, coming over and contaminating the organic fields. And I mean, and then people get paid off. The USDA gets paid off. So nothing is guaranteed to be 100% organic. But why do they have to become snobbish and pretentious about something that was originally part of society? Organic, craft beer, wine that is cold pressed and made the old-fashioned way, aged in oak barrels, liquor that's aged in oak instead of aging it in a stainless steel tank in the Napa Valley in California. It's aged the old world way in oak barrels that are centuries years old. It's okay. The same thing with beer. I mean, these people become snobs because they just have to. They have to have the edge on the next guy or the so-called average person. Even if I had the bucks, Tom, I would not pay a high price on any beer. That's why I like to drink Yinling, because it happens to be a microbrew that's has a great taste. It's America's oldest brewery, and I only pay like $6 for 6 bottles. You know, in a local liquor store. That's it. I mean, that to me is a great value. And if these jabroni stuck-up snobs, these beer geeks, have a fucking problem with it, let them contact me. And
well, some of them drinking right here, James. I mean, this is a nice beer. It's solid, and it's not one of those darling, craft breweries that I was talking about. They don't have that great, clever label on it. This is a solid beer, though, and it goes for $6.99 a 6-pack.
Wow.
In today's beer market, that's pretty darn reasonable. I've got another one I'm going to pop for you, later. It's from one of the older, I guess craft breweries now. They didn't used to call themselves a craft brewery, but I guess they are now. Sierra Nevada. I've got their IPA in the cooler I want to pop out for you, called Torpedo.
Wow.
And the reason I want to bring that out is that Torpedo sells in 6-pack bottles and 16-ounce 4-pack cans. Now the cans usually run $10 a 4-pack. But I found a bargain where they were $6.97, and that's the point I'm trying to make: is don't just buy that big beer because somebody said it was wonderful, so you're going to go pay $15 a 6-pack. Use your noggin, buy the best beer you can, but use your head. Don't be stupid. Don't buy something just because somebody said.
Right, exactly. Try it for yourself. Now, before you get the Torpedo, could you please hold up the bottle of what you've been drinking? And could you plug the company again? Because since it's a great value, I think it'll be good to give our listeners and viewers a chance to write it down. Summit
Extra Pale Ale, and again, the numbers are 5.2% ABV and 45 IBUs. I mean, that's pretty hoppy for a light beer.
And it's from Minneapolis, Minnesota, this brewery?
I'm sorry, say that again?
Is this brewery from Minneapolis, Minnesota?
Yeah. St. Paul, I believe.
Paul.
Let me look at it again. Summit Brewing, St. Paul, Minnesota. These guys are solid. I mean, I haven't had anything from them that it might not blew my hair back, as you might say, but everything's been very solid. It's refreshing, and most important, worth $7 a 6-pack.
Okay, so St. Paul, Minnesota, Summit Brewery, the other Twin City, the one that, doesn't get all the publicity, St. Paul. And you can see Tom the Beer Whisperer
I'm ambidextrous. I can drink with both hands. Watch, I can drink with my left hand.
Wow. See, he's absorbing all those B complex, all those minerals and B complex vitamins from the craft micro brew. And,
I'm no first of May, I'll tell you that right now.
Tom, you could hypnotize women by moving that glass around. You should give hypnotherapy. Woo! Very good. Actually, I'm getting seasick now. You're rocking back and forth.
So John Candy from Second City used to do this number where he's going back and forth on the camera.
What was that movie that cracked me up with John Candy? Was that Summer Rental?
Summer Rental, he did Summer Rental, yeah.
Summer Rental, and they went to a seafood restaurant, and it was like frozen fish sticks, whatever, out of a box.
Yeah.
And the guy was going, "Arr, sit down. Would you like some frozen fish sticks?" Arr.
Yeah, I believe Rip Torn was the guy. Was Scully the owner of the restaurant?
Yeah, Scully. That's right. Scully's catch of the day.
Scully's catch of the day.
Yeah. The reason why they're calling it craft microbrew craft beer is because of all the garbage beers that have bombarded our advertisements. Your Budweiser that always claimed to be the king of beers because what these commercials are all about is, I think they use the Joseph Goebbels Nazi Germany technique of, if you repeat a lie, if it's a big lie and you repeat it often enough, eventually people start to believe the lie.
Yeah.
And that's what they do.
Exactly right.
Yeah, that's what they do. That's how the Republicans do it. That's how Budweiser and Coors and Miller's not that bad. Miller's not. Stroh's was good. Stroh's and Old Milwaukee, I hear got a good rating by beer tasters at one time. Beer snob tasters. So. But these beer geeks, leave Tom alone.
No, it's okay. And that's the thing. That's why, I hesitate to, I'm not going to make an issue out of it or mention any names because I don't care. It's fine. And because it goes back to what you're saying about honest. People should be honest. If somebody doesn't like the way I do my videos, you can say it. It's okay. I mean, I'm not for everybody. I don't give it a lot of the beer geek speak. Some folks want to hear that beer geek speak. They want to talk about the lacing, or they want to hear, 30 adjectives describing, the aroma or the taste. I don't do that. That's not my thing because there's 100 other beer reviewers doing it. I don't need to.
But
I take it another direction. I like to give people when I do my thing, like I just did. I mean, I tell you what's in it. I give you, I give you the straight scoop, but then I also kind of get goofy about it. And then that's kind of my way. I love craft beer. I love beer. I think it's wonderful. And like I said, I don't think there's a human being on the planet that enjoys a good beer more than I do. But this isn't the most important thing in the world, folks, and it shouldn't be. And if it is to you, you either don't have a life or your priorities are out of whack, and it's really that simple.
Well, I know fanatics in other ways. I know people that only hunt for deer, and that's all they talk about. I know people that only go bass fishing, and that's all they talk about. I know golfers that only talk about golf. I don't like fanaticism. I don't think it's normal. I think life is about balance. It should be well balanced, And
the difference between beer nuts and deer nuts are?
What?
Beer nuts are about $1.50, and deer nuts are always under $1.
That's cute, man. That's good. That's almost as funny as your rolling. Your balls are always swollen.
Yeah, my wife rolls her eyes every time I say that.
Rolling. Your snapdragons are crawling up your butt. Your snapdragons are crawling up the old poop chute. Okay, now.
But yeah, I don't care who wants to say, Tom, you shouldn't talk about this, because it's like you said. I mean, it should be about honesty. But come on, do we have to take this stuff that serious? It should be about value. Some of these guys are charging too much, so I don't know why we shouldn't talk about it, or I don't know why we can't talk. Because they know as well as I do. People, if you're taking beer for free from somebody, hell, I'd take beer for free if a brewery wants to send it to me. But I'm not going to give them a sweetheart review just because I got it for free. And I think that's the difference.
Yeah, you're not going to sugarcoat it.
You can't sell yourself out for a six-pack. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. And out of principle, even if somebody's loaded with loot, even if they're a high income bracket, I still, out of principle, wouldn't pay those ridiculous high prices for any beer, because out of principle, it's like going to a steakhouse and paying over $20 for a steak dinner. I mean, it's just not. It's ridiculous. Out of principle, I wouldn't do it. But these people feel, they like to brag about, how much they spend on everything, and they like to brag about what they pay for their designer clothes and shoes, and it makes them feel important and superior. Excuse me, because down deep.
And I try to be proud about being cheap. I mean, we do live in a tough economy, folks. I mean, don't be bragging about it. $200 Snickers and $20 six packs. So let's get it where people can afford it,
Right.
and don't let this. That's I hate that some folks are turning beer into wine. It just really chaps my keister.
Turning beer into Dom Perignon
Well, I say in several videos, this is a working class drink. Let's keep it that way. I agree that a finely crafted beer has all of the subtleties of a fine wine. I agree with that. I say that all the time, but I also say it doesn't mean we have to act like it.
It's liquid whole grain bread. With that is fermented. That is fermented.
I've always referred. I've done some home brewing, so I've always referred to beer as soup in a bottle, because if you toss barley into hot water, well, what is that? Well, that's soup. So this is nothing more than fermented soup in a bottle.
Yeah, it's like
So
literally.
if you're sick, have a couple. It'll make you feel better. It's like chicken soup.
Well, didn't I don't know if they still do, but didn't doctors in Ireland prescribe Guinness Stout to sick people that needed a tonic, or pregnant women? I heard they actually Guinness Stout is actually a prescription because it is a malted beverage. That's what I heard.
Yeah, I don't know that, but yeah, that makes sense to me.
It's got blood building properties in it, right? I mean, it's a dark malted beverage.
I may be getting old, balding, and chubby, but I'm not sick very often.
No, you got
So,
hair.
no.
Yeah.
I have a sniffle.
Well, they say that human beings with strong immune systems were breastfed and not formula fed. Because the colostrum in the mother's milk, in the first few days of life, the colostrum develops the baby's immune system.
Oh, yeah?
Yes, that is a fact. So I'm not sure if you were, that's why a lot of these young mothers that, I don't want to breastfeed. I'm going to give the kid formula. It's better to give the kid the real mother's milk. It's only a few days or a week that they need it. Get it over with. Give it to them, and let your husband milk you for the rest of your life.
There you go.
That's all. Simple as that. And put it in their high protein shakes and smoothies, and
There you go.
Refrigerate it, and because once a mammal has a child, you can milk them technically for the rest of their life.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Well, look at the goats and the cows.
Yeah.
Well,
So once a mammal has a child, they can be milked the rest of their lives. Yeah.
yeah.
Get the bucket, baby. I'm coming in.
Wouldn't it be funny, instead of jury duty that they made it mandatory for all the attractive women to report to a human dairy to be milked?
Yeah.
That'd be funny. Right? Well, in a bizarro, I guess in a fantasy society, I guess it would be funny. But anyway, your next
We digress.
your next beverage is
Okay, let me bring this back to show you here.
torpedo, right?
This is a fine IPA. Sierra Nevada Torpedo.
Is that good for a man's?
7.2%, 65 IBUs. A great brewery out of Chico, California.
Chico and the Man, right?
And these, like I said, these generally run about $10. A 4-pack, 16-ounce cans.
Now, is that good for a man's torpedo?
There we go.
Torpedo extra. What did I say? IPA?
And I'll show you. That's got great color. It's beautiful, right? That's a nice color.
It's got a nice medium brown color there, which means it has a full-bodied flavor. Sierra Nevada, I know about the company.
7.265. And again, that's my point. I mean, what I buy and when I buy it, is determined by, how much I can afford to spend and what's on sale. So, I mean, when I talk about value, that's what I'm saying.
Right.
This is normally $10. I normally don't buy it. It was on sale for $7, so I buy it. And it should be that simple. It should be about common sense, and it shouldn't be about, well, this brewery is hip this week, so this is what you should be buying. And that's what some of the pretentious beer snobs are doing to the craft beer industry, and that's why I take umbrage to. And that's why I say things like that in my videos, and sometimes I take people. I can work in a massage parlor because sometimes I rub folks the wrong way.
Massage parlor. Yeah, women never want a man to massage them in a therapeutic place. They always want women to massage them, and men want women to massage them. But women always want women to massage them. That's why a male masseuse will have a hard time getting a clientele unless they're gay.
Very cool. And this is a fine IPA. It's one of the best on the market. And if you can find a bargain like this, you should snap it up. It's a great IPA.
Yeah, it looks like a great value. See, you bring honesty to honest craft beer reviews. You bring honesty. There's always going to be the vermin that slither their way into a really good group, like Honest Craft Beer Reviews or Regional Food and Drink. We're always going to have them, But I get a lot of right-wing conservatives that try to taunt me and John Starodumsky when we do our political shows, and they try to push my buttons and get under my skin. But once you start dealing with the real hard-hitting truth about anything, these people like self-destruct. They can't answer you. They have no comeback. And they start giving you, for a while, you get yeah, but, and they try to push your buttons. Then eventually, they run out of gas.
Well, when it'll eventually go to name calling, and
Yeah.
So once somebody runs out of something intelligent to say, then they start calling your name.
Yeah, like I was duking it out with this person. See, John posted, John Starodumsky posted a fascinating article, I believe it was from CNN, about global warming, and when I mentioned money should be poured from the bloated defense budget and war profiteering into the green movement for alternatives, this guy is putting down the green movement, and he was a right-winger, and he was automatically talking about profit, making a killing. And I told him, well, if the planet is shot to hell, you're not going to be able to enjoy the better life and make a killing if the planet is shot.
Yeah.
I says, a Republican will just say drill, 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 like Sarah Palin. They just want to keep on drilling, and the hell with, they wouldn't even put money into the green movement, But anyway, eventually he ran out of gas.
Yeah.
Yeah, but now Torpedo, see, you buy beers that are great value, but every time I see you pour the great value beers, they all have that high quality, dark, deep color. The head is great. It looks like a great tasting microbrew.
Mm-hmm.
I could see it just by looking at it. And they all happen to be great values. Not that, you, like myself, we're not.
Well, I guarantee you, like I said, this beer here that I had earlier, the Summit Extra Pale, runs $6.99 a six-pack. There are some, of similar style out there that are running $10 a six-pack. They may have a more clever label. They've got a better advertising campaign, but they're not any better beers. And that's the problem with what some of these folks are doing to the craft beer industry. They're making it all about, a clever label and hip marketing rather than the quality of the beer. I want to bring it back to the quality of the beer.
Exactly. It's all about what the beer is and not about fluff and prestige and how much propaganda they pump into the advertisement, or what famous food channel person happens to love it and endorse it because they're paid off. Same thing with the other personalities, like the big ass kisser. I can't stand him, Adam Richman. He loves everybody in every restaurant, even if he's eating garbage, because he's making. Probably his palm is greased to say that.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's no. Like I told Red, I says there's no way I will eat a sandwich that is stuffed with French fries. I want my fries on the side. French fries in excuse me. French fries in a sandwich is cheap filler. Plain and simple. It's like putting white rice in a burrito. It's cheap filler.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah.
So, torpedo, what does it resemble in flavor? Does it resemble anything that, does it taste like let's say a Sam Adams or
no, like I said, I mean, it's 7.265. It's one of the bigger IPAs on the market. Generally speaking, IPAs, of course, this, I'm not going to get into the technical beer geek speak, but, when IPAs first started to become popular, most of them ran between 6 and 6.5%, and then gradually it kept getting bigger and bigger. Now, there is a West Coast style of IPA that is 7%, 7.5%. Some are even getting bigger than that now. A couple of the more well-known ones are one is the Firestone Walker, Union Jack, or the Green Flash. Those two are probably the most well-known West Coast. Now, this one doesn't say it's a West Coast style IPA, although, I mean, Chico, California is obviously West Coast. But it is one of the bigger IPAs. It is also one of the more affordable IPAs, although the Green Flash and the Union Jack aren't, way out of line either, to be fair to them, and they are great. But what I'm saying is, just because something $2 or $3 6-pack more, $5 6-pack more in some cases, it's necessarily a better beer, and you've got to use your head about it.
Okay.
And like I said again, in full disclosure, I belong to that one group, Beer Drinkers United. And a while back, earlier in the year, I was made administrator of the group. Most of the folks in there, I don't have a problem with anybody in that group. Nobody's really said anything to me directly about anything, but I have had messages from various people from different places say, hey, Tom, why do you concentrate so much on this, or why do you say that? And that's basically why. I don't want to concentrate on the advertising aspect of it, and that's the dirty little secret that they don't want to tell you, that it is about money. It's always about money.
Well, what Red Rooster and John Starodomsky had a problem with at Beer Drinkers United was the fact that there were so many people giving phony reviews because they were receiving free beer from the companies.
Yeah.
And
I didn't know that. I wasn't aware of that, to be honest.
Yeah, they were calling them beer whores, which is what they are, and they didn't like it. They didn't like the criticism.
Somebody leaves a 6-pack on your nightstand, and
Listen, you can't look a gift horse in the mouth. Well,
like I said, I mean, if I'm talking to somebody and they want to give me a beer, that's wonderful, and I will take it, and I will drink it, and I will review it if they want me to. But I'm not going to give a sweetheart review because it was free.
Yeah.
So I don't actively solicit that, I guess, and I think that's the difference. I think there are people out there that actively solicit free beer, and I think that goes beyond that goes beyond good taste to me. I'm not walking into breweries, hey, you want to give me a free one? No, I won't do that. But if I'm talking to somebody and we're talking about beer, say, hey, Tom, you want to try this? Sure, Tom's going to try it. But I think if you're going from brewery, if you're walking yourself from brewery to brewery, say, hey, I'm so and so, and I'll do a beer review if you give me a 6-pack free. I think that goes beyond good taste to me.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, in order for me to drink a cheap-ass Budweiser or a Coors Light, I would have to be extremely thirsty. It would have to be a heat wave outside, and there would have to be absolutely nothing else better for me to even attempt to drink it. But
Yeah.
I mean, now craft beer is becoming the popular beer to drink because there are so many microbreweries in the United States now compared to when Sam Adams first started advertising and using the term craft brewing.
That's right. And again, the beer that I drank earlier this summit, I was looking up on their website, and this particular beer first came out in 1986. Now, if you think about the beers that were available in 1986, 5.2%, what I say, 45 IBU beer was, I mean, that was a very bitter beer back in 1986. You know what I mean? I mean, there wasn't a lot of beers like that. And if you remember the color, I mean, it's got this big, deep golden color. So I mean, you got to say that by today's standards, that's not a big beer. But if you're talking about 1986, yeah, that beer had a lot going on for 1986.
Right. Absolutely. I
don't remember 1986 because the 80s were very good to me.
I had a lot of fun in the 80s. I had a lot of fun in the 70s.
I had hair back in the 80s, man. I had a lot of hair. I had hair down to here in the
80s. Did you have that infamous garment called a leisure suit back? Or you just?
No. I was born in 65, so I didn't. I missed the leisure suit, but I did have some very atrocious 80s clothing. I did own that really tacky, keyboard tie that everybody was wearing. Yeah. I'm talking about this pin had a keyboard across it.
I refuse to wear polyester bell-bottom slacks and a leisure suit and dress like John Revolta.
No, I didn't do that. But
I refuse. I
didn't wear parachute pants.
Oh, say that again because your video froze up a little.
Are you there?
Yeah.
I have to admit, in full disclosure, that I did wear parachute pants in the 80s.
Oh yeah, the genie pants, the parachute pants.
I did wear the parachute pants.
A lot of guys that worked out wore them. They called them the genie pants with the what do they call those? The fag bag, the fanny pack thing.
No, I didn't do. No, I'm not talking about those. They were real tight, had lots of zippers on them.
Oh, okay.
A lot of us guys that thought we were rockers at the time wore those things. I had the long hair and wore a lot of animal print stuff.
Yeah, those were the days. There was no dangerous social diseases, and us guys saw a lot of action, a lot of free flinging action. That back then it was like open season.
I didn't. In fact, when I got married, I was practically a virgin.
Practically a virgin.
Practically, I was real close, man. My wife is in the room here, so.
Okay. Did you get a very rambunctious bachelor party?
Yeah, I can tell you. Want to hear my bachelor party story?
Yeah, why not?
This is a good one. Oh my goodness. At the time.
Snapdragons. Yes.
My mom and dad lived in this really backwoods town. And I'm not going to mention the name, but the plus about it is that my parents grew up in Southern California. They sold their house. They moved to this little backwoods town in Missouri because it was real close to a lake, and he was able to buy himself a boat. He had a little boat dock, and so it was the first time he'd been able to do that. But it was a really backwoods redneck town. They had this really nice backyard. My wife and I were going to do a wedding, as economical as possible. And so and both of us wanted we wanted this family. It was a simple wedding. So we had it done out there And so anyway, there was only one place to have a bachelor party. There was one bar, basically, and it was the VFW. Now, my dad happened to be a member out there, and I knew most folks out there, so getting us in was no problem. The problem was my wedding party. my best man him and I grew up together in Southern California. He was, or he is, still is, but he's Japanese. And at the time, I'm taking these Japanese going to a VFW, so if you're following my drift here. And at the time, I also had longer hair, but he had extremely long hair, went just about back. And my other friend that was with me was a hippie type, again, long hair, Grateful Dead shirt. So I walk in with these two characters and my brother and Chris, my friend with the Japanese with long hair, walk into a VFW. So if you could picture this, we're sitting at a table with 60-year-old rednecks staring at us like they just like to kill us. But I knew the bartender and the waitress that night, and they knew why we were in there, and they made sure about every 15 minutes we had a fresh pitcher and a fresh round of shots.
Right.
Well, after about an hour, one redneck sitting next to us thought our service was just a little bit too exceptional, so he walked over, he went up to the bar and started complaining. Started laughing, and all of a sudden, my friend jumped up. He was not trying to spike it, just stood up and started walking towards the bar, just so the guy noticed it. And the guy just turned around and walked away. He wanted to complain about us, but he didn't have the sack to say it to our faces,
Right.
So anyway, to make a long story short, we got hammered there at the VFW. And they were doing their thing to stop it. It started raining that night, and about midnight, we decided it was time to go back home. So it was only about a 5-minute walk, so we all started walking. Well, I thought they were all, for some reason we got separated, and I just kept walking home. I thought they were all behind me. It was raining, so I just kept my head covered and kept moving at a pretty brisk pace. And I'm probably pretty well buzzed at this point. Yeah. So we get to where we're staying, and everybody's smoking. I don't sweat it.
You're freezing up.
I'm popping beer. I keep drinking. I'm just sitting there drinking a beer. Well, nobody shows up for a while. I can't figure out what takes them so long. Well, about 45 minutes later, they come wandering in, and I'm into my next beer by then. And they said, "Where'd you go?" I said, "I thought we were leaving." We all walked out the door. I started walking. I thought you guys were behind me. So we went out in the rain looking for you. And I said, "Well, why the hell would you do that?" my friend remembers that to this day. My hippie friend Tim. He said, "You said, why wouldn't you go looking for me? That's stupid." So anyway, that's my redneck bachelor party story.
Wow. All right. What motivated your dad to leave Southern California and choose Missouri?
Well, at the time, my sister lived in Missouri. He just wanted to get at the property values are pretty high.
Freezing up. Yeah, hold on.
Did I lose you?
Yeah, well, your video is like freezing up and it's chopping your voice a little from time to time.
It was the mid to late 80s. I think he just wanted to get out. And he always wanted to have a place by the lake. So I think he just sold it when he could. He bought himself a nice place out there, and he wasn't in good health, to be honest. He wasn't in good health. And so he just kind of wanted to get somewhere where he could relax.
And your sister already lived in Missouri?
Yeah, my sister already lived out here. And I wasn't living here at the time. I came a little bit later.
All right. She went to school in Missouri, your sister?
No. They lived in California, but they came out. Her and her husband came out a few years earlier for whatever reason.
Okay.
And then now we're all out here. Almost. I've got a sister, brother, my mom are out here. My dad passed away a few years ago. I have a brother in Washington and a sister in Denver, but most of us are right here now. So.
Yeah, well, you know, you got, at least you don't have the San Andreas fault to worry about.
Yeah.
You know, Washington, well, Seattle, well, Washington is subject to, there's volcanoes there. There's San Andreas Fault goes through Washington, you know. And,
Or the rest of that of the glass area to get a good look at there.
that's the torpedo.
That's a torpedo. This is a fine IPA, man. I mean, like I said, generally goes for $10. You know, a 4-pack or a 6-pack. That's not crazy expensive, but it's not cheap. But when you can find it on sale for $7, you know that's certainly a bargain you want to take advantage of.
Oh yeah. Well, you know, like we were saying before, the competition amongst craft microbrew companies is so fierce right now because there are just so many microbreweries in the United States, and for this reason, probably, you know, is why you can get craft microbrew beers for such a reasonable price. It's just the competition is you know.
Yeah, you know, and I think there's some that are just relying on their name to get away with $15 a 6-pack. When the truth is that they shouldn't. They shouldn't be able to. They are able to. They are getting away with it, but they shouldn't be able to.
Well, some of these members.
I'll give you a good example. We've got a local brewery in town in Springfield, Missouri. It's only a year old. It's called Mother's, and I talk about these guys all the time because I want to push drinking local.
Right.
But apparently, a full price stuff for $9 a 6-pack. Almost everybody in town, at one time or another, will put their stuff on sale ranging from $7 to $8. Sometimes it's $6.99 a 6-pack. Sometimes it's $7.89 or $7.87, something like that. So I can almost find a 6-pack of them somewhere for $7 or $8. And it's an extremely high quality, and their IPA is 7%, 70 IBUs, and in my opinion, it's as good as any on the market. You know, there may be somebody else likes better, and they're saying, Tom, I like that one better, but this IPA is as good a quality as any on the market, and I like it as well as anything I've had. And so that's the point. Somebody in some markets shouldn't be able to get away with 15 a 6-pack, and they're only able to do it because you've got these, you know, you've got these serious beer geek folks that say, oh no, you really need 15 6-pack. You know, it's fine saying, well, I can't buy that under 50. You know, and it's the same mentality.
Yeah, well, there are people. I always see members of Honest Craft Beer Review on occasion mention the high price that they paid for the craft beer, and I would not give these rip-off companies the benefit of spending that kind of money out of principle. Screw them. You know, same thing for a lot of the food groups. You know, people are always boasting about going to a high-end restaurant, and you know, when you have atmosphere in a high-end restaurant, you have very high prices. Money or no money, out of principle, I would not pay the price. It's just, I would not be a victim. I tell people that I stuff my face with seafood at the lunch buffet in my town for like under $8. I'm eating shrimp and Creole sauce. I'm eating red snapper fillet. I'm eating fried squid. I'm flounder fillet. You know, and stuffed crab. All this, you know. I mean, I'm not going to brag to somebody. It's like some people say, "Oh, I went to Red Lobster or Legal Seafood, and I had this and that." I says, yeah, I know Legal Seafood. Nothing is under $20 in that restaurant. So value.
I mean, I agree with you. I mean, you know, that's why I take my thing a different direction. While some are bragging about spending $20 a 6-pack, I want to get on there and brag about finding this for $7, or I want to brag about buying this other beer for, you know, buying this no frills beer for $7. Right. And you know, I think some people, you know, issue at you because. They said, Tom, you need to push these beer. $80 $5. And I agree. I think we just need to push beer And that's why, when you keep saying the term craft, well, I only drink craft beer. Right then, as soon as you say that word, you bring the pretension into the discussion. Right at that moment, it shouldn't be about craft beer. All these guys, Summit isn't in the same discussion as brewers like Dogfish Head or Bell's, but they're solid. Whereas a Dogfish Head or a Bell's are going from 15 to 6-pack, I can get this quality beer for 7. Let's talk about that.
I would just call them simply beer reviews. That's it. Beer reviews. You give a review on a particular beer, regardless of, the name of the company, or if it has a reputation, or if it's little known, or whether it's pricey or cheap. Give a review on it. It's just simply a beer review. That's it. Forget about craft and micro brew or nanotechnology brew, or whatever term you want to use. A microscopic brew. That's it. It's a beer, whether it be crap like Budweiser or whether it be what you just drank tonight.
For me, there's a small handful of guys that are doing great reviews, and I keep track of them. But then there's a lot of guys that are just doing, what you were talking about earlier, about just doing sweetheart reviews for companies that are doing favors for them.
Yeah.
But there are a handful of great folks out there. I want to mention one in particular, Stuart Picard, for instance.
Stuart Picard?
I don't know if you've seen his. Yeah, Stuart did great reviews. Out of his, he got a lot of information. He tends to get a little coverage as well. He's a great guy. He does a good, honest beer review, and he's also talks about a lot of different beers. So he's somebody I want to listen to.
Yeah, did you see the other guy, Jeff Lyons, Chuck Triplett? There are a few fantastic.
Greg Puckett, I believe is his name. He does some reviews. He gives extensive. Most of his reviews go over 10 minutes because he gives a whole lot of information. I try extremely hard to keep mine at 5 minutes or under. I don't want to go crazy with the information. I try to, give you the particulars you need to know or you want to know.
Yeah.
And, then I want to cut it short. I don't want to give you too much. But, I to give some information. You just know what he's talking about as well.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen Stuart Picard?
Yes.
Now, okay, I got to say this, and I hope he watches this at the end of the thing, because I got to say this about Stuart. Stuart and I were I can't remember, we were commenting on a post a while back about beer, and Stuart mentioned me as a slightly odd. And I took that as a compliment, actually, and my response to him is I'm not slightly odd, I am all odd. But then I got to thinking about it a little bit, and I started watching more of Stu's reviews. Have you ever seen Stu's reviews? I mean, he's not exactly the poster child for sanity, you know what I'm saying? So I'm thinking, if Stuart thinks I'm odd, I mean, that's something, right? I mean, it's like in a silent.
Excuse me, Tom. I'm losing you.
I'm odd.
Yeah, I mean, look, this is your style. This is the style of Tom the Beer Whisperer.
Stuart's not exactly normal, Stuart, I love you, buddy.
Yeah. Now,
Stuart's watching me going, man, that guy's a little different. I'm thinking, okay.
Right. Tom, do you
that's my thing too, is I understand I'm not everybody's cup of tea. I'm not gonna give you a million adjectives to describe grapefruit like some of these guys are gonna do. I'm gonna tell you, and the other thing I don't do is I don't give number or grade ratings because I think it's too subjective for that. For me, there's only two questions: do I like it, and will I buy it again? That's all I ran. I don't. 90 time I say.
Tom, Do you have any other windows open right now while you're on the air?
No, am I breaking up on you again?
Oh yeah, you're really breaking up on me. Like I would say 30% of your story is like totally choppy and you're freezing. The video is freezing. I'm just wondering if there's any other windows open.
It's open. Are you there with me? Can you hear me now?
I could hear you now, and I see you. I see you and I hear you, but like as you're telling the story, some parts of it, you know, you're like freezing and your words are chopping.
Okay. Yeah, I don't have anything else.
Okay, maybe it's the nature of wireless internet. Maybe it's a little overcast outside. Who knows?
Maybe I'm rambling too much.
No, I know you're talking. You're giving me valuable information. I just feel bad that I couldn't get 100% of it. That's all. You know, because I know with wireless anything, the weather. You know, if there's a storm or if there's clouds overhead, can affect it. You know. I'm on a cable modem, so I don't have that situation. But anyway,
beautiful.
It's beautiful. See, your style is unique, and that's what makes you unique. That's what makes you Tom the Beer Whisperer. The other fellas, the other guys have their style.
Yeah, I don't claim to be the most knowledgeable guy out there, though I do feel I have a pretty solid knowledge of beer. I don't claim to be the smartest guy out there, but I challenge anybody to say they're more passionate about beer than I am.
No, you have the most enthusiasm and passion for good quality beer. You are extremely honest, shoot straight from the hip, and you actually your style and personality makes me want to drink more quality beer. You know what I mean? Because you're really into it. You know, you're just the spokesperson for beer, possibly in the United States. In the future, you'll be discovered as hopefully a good quality micro brew company will offer you a job to advertise for them. Hopefully not a crap beer will give you money.
Keep coming back.
Here goes the pillow. All right. Gotta go.
Somebody's sneaking up to the can here.
If they gotta go, they gotta go.
Here we go. This is a perfect operation.
Honest craft beer reviews, and if somebody, we're honest about everything. If somebody honestly has to go detoxify, they have to go.
We just picked up our son Seamus from camp. We've talked. I've talked about Seamus with he has leukemia.
Right.
He got to go to camp last week. It's especially for kids with leukemia and blood disorders. So anyway, we just picked him up, and so we're kind of been goofing off today. So
how did he like it?
He loved it. It's actually the first time he'd ever been to camp. It's actually the first time he'd ever been away from home for a week. And the first time the mom and I had been away from him for a week. So it was kind of a rough week for Mom and I. It was a great week for Shay. He had a great time at camp.
Yeah.
It was tough for Mom and I to be away from him.
Well, you told me he knew a counselor there from St. Louis.
Yeah, actually, he knew the nurse. Each hospital, there are certain hospitals in the area they go to, and they all have a nurse there. His nurse from the hospital he goes to, St. Louis Children's Hospital, is there. So, and she's the one that talked to him when they going to camp, and he's pretty close with her, so it really helped.
Well, Tom, I'm glad he had a good time.
Take a guy serious with a pillow on his head?
Well, no, it's okay. Well, you're Tom the Beer Whisperer. You could do whatever you want.
I can get away with it, right? What's he going to do next, that crazy bastard?
Now, I think next time we should go directly to Skype itself, and not do it this way. Maybe the connection will be more secure from Skype itself, and not the way we're doing it now. But at least we got 95%, I would say, of the show is uninterrupted.
Yeah, salvage what you can.
Yeah, people understand that that this is the nature of the internet. It's like the weather. It's like you're out in a boat and all of a sudden a storm comes and then it's over and then it's smooth sailing and this is how it is. But it's probably has to do with streaming over a wireless connection, perhaps. But we'll do it from Skype. But now you are you almost look like you have a gigantic chef's hat on, like I had the other show.
I'm trying to my George Washington. It makes it look like a white wig here.
Yeah. Everybody wore white wigs back then. That was the style. That was funny. That was funny. Did you see the other show we did when I had the chef's hat on?
Yeah, I had the chef's hat on. Yeah.
Yeah, you'll get a kick out of my hat this time. Now you look almost like if the Pope had a George Washington wig. Martha with a Marge Simpson, Martha with a high Marge Simpson hair.
There you go. Yeah, if it was blue, I could do Marge. Maybe you can color it in post production.
Yeah, I was curious. Whatever happened to George Washington's wooden dentures? Did they end up in a Smithsonian Institute?
I don't know.
He had wooden dentures. Boy, talk about low budget dentistry. You can't get more low budget than that.
Backdrop here.
Yeah, you're now you got a big cauliflower, gigantic ear on one side. Oh, somebody's coming out of the latrine. The outhouse.
You got the backdrop up. Yeah, backdrop up.
The outhouse. We were joking about outhouses last time. But well, if you have another one to pop, I would say pop it. But being that you're getting the videos getting choppy, I would just finish that and we'll say goodnight till next time.
Okay, it's up to you.
Yeah, because it's starting to get choppy.
Is it getting worse? And I thought it might start getting better. Yeah.
Well, now you're fine. If there's another blockbuster that you want to pop, if you don't want to pop it and you want to do it next time.
Want to talk it to you? Want to cut down?
Yeah, you know what? The video's getting really choppy now. We'll say goodnight and then next time. But thank you. Yeah. Thank you for joining us.
It's always a pleasure talking with you, man.
Likewise, it's a pleasure having you on my show, and I will. I'd
like to be able to get a show done with, with John or Rooster too. I want to, you get their take on beer, see if we're on the same page or where they're coming from too.
You know what I could do? I did it with John Starodumsky. What happened was, I had John on video, and I had Red Rooster on the phone through the computer, a Magic Jack. So I had Red talking to me from the computer speaker, and I had John coming out of the same speaker, but he was on video.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, the split screen, having two people on video. Like I said before, it won't work because I found out why. But I could easily have John. I can have you on video, and I can have John or Red on phone through the computer. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've done that before, so it's possible. John was busy this weekend. Red works. He works weekends often. He works at night. He doesn't.
Oh, gotcha.
He don't have a 9 to 5 Monday through Friday job. His schedule is a little unorthodox. But we'll work something out next time. But it was a good show. It was a good. We touched upon very good topics here. That
Good. I mean, I hope some of that stuff, it wasn't too choppy. You can at least make some sense out of it anyway.
well, the backbone of the show came out fine. When we were talking about snobbish beer geeks and all their their shenanigans and their all the annoyances they put out. We discussed them. They were the main topic. Beer geeks, snobs, beer whores, and such. So Red would be happy that we discussed that, and we threw some humor in there. It just got choppy at the end.
Okay.
But thank you, and I will see you next time on Honest Craft Beer Reviews. Good night, my friend.